Good afternoon. It is Thursday, December 22nd, 2022. I'd like to call the regular meeting of the Harlan Municipal Utilities Board of Trustees to order. We need an approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Seconded.
Roll call.
Shelton, aye.
Terrell, aye.
Reese, aye.
Nella and Michelle. Oh, Michelle, you have to unmute.
There you go. Aye.
There you go.
Michelle, aye.
Nella.
I know it still shows that she's audio is trying to still.
Oh yeah, she's still trying to connect, so we'll just go on.
Okay, well, yep, we got a thumbs up from her, okay. The approval of the consent agenda, which includes the minutes of the December 8th board meeting, the abstract of claims number 1126 in the amount of $625,190, and the upcoming board meetings, January 12th will be an electronic board meeting, and January 26th, a regular board meeting.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Roll call.
Shelton, aye.
Terrell, aye.
Reese, aye.
Michelle, aye.
Do you guys see Nella?
Thumbs up.
Nella, if you're talking, we can't hear you.
Okay.
Well, we'll move on for now. Item number 4 is resolution number 73-2022, approving the purchase of food and beverage policy.
Yeah, this is just policy was updated. Existing policy was updated to include food and beverage for quarterly employee meetings. The meetings would be used to discuss safety and any new policies, any concerns that the employees might have, any ideas. It all just helps for team building.
Yeah, I think this item was brought up during the strategic offsite. It was the intended is to be team building, not to be a blanket purchase agreement for food at all employee gatherings.
Oh no, it's also on the phone. Yeah, I believe that. I don't know if Joe heard you or not, but they were gonna do those quarterly.
Move for approval of resolution number 73-2022.
Let's second that.
And roll call.
Shelton, aye.
Terrell, aye.
Reese, aye.
Michelle, aye.
Okay, we got Nella.
Ooh, we got you now, Nella.
Okay.
She called in.
Item number 5 is resolution number 94-2022, fixing date for a meeting on the proposition to authorize a loan agreement and the issuance of notes to evidence the obligations of the city thereunder not to exceed $7.5 million water revenue capital loan notes.
And basically, this would just be setting that date, I guess, when we would have a hearing on the loan notes, setting that date for the 26th of January, our next regular board meeting. And this would just be our discussion we had with the new water project. Current engineers' estimates about they're right around 6.8 with material cost increases and everything. But in order to save from trying to pinpoint that number closer and then having another hearing later, if we would go over that number, we just added a little cushion to that and went to 7.5. So hopefully we're covered, and our actual bid number would come in under that.
Are you combining it with the 26th board meeting? Is that what you're attempting to do?
Correct. And basically, Jim, that would be on, I think we'll have the interim loan confirmation at that meeting too, correct, Jenny? If I'm remembering correctly, talking to Steve Nadel.
Yeah, I believe so.
set the dates to start the process of funding, interim funding.
I didn't hear that. What was it?
Oh, that was Donald just clarifying that that's setting the dates for the interim funding.
So what do you need from us? Approval to proceed with this?
Yeah, approval fixing the date for January 26th.
Okay.
And then that will be the actual date of the public hearing.
So is that enough time, and does the city do they participate and have to deconflict and participate in their process, or is
No.
it just us?
No, it's just us. The hearing will be on the 26th. That's when people will be able to have objections or.
I make a motion.
Whoops, go ahead, Joe.
Well, I was just saying, yeah, this is all just laid out by Steve Nadel, the bond attorney. So he's kind of got us, and he's really particular about making sure we got dates set when they need to be and that we hit all those dates.
So I make a motion to approve resolution number 95, 2022, setting the dates for our public hearing.
Okay, I think we're actually on resolution 94, 2022
Yep.
first.
Yeah, he said
94.
the right motion, the wrong number.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. 94.
Second?
And roll call.
Shelton, aye.
Terrell, aye.
Reese, aye.
Michelle, I.
Okay, and follow that up with resolution 95, 2022, approving the engagement letter from Ehlers and Cooney, not to exceed $7.5 million water revenue capital notes.
And this is basically just, in other words, their contract as far as doing all the required documentation and legal advice for the funding or the financial side of the project. And I think there's a copy in there. I read through it there. I think there's like about 3 phases: getting things ready for bidding, getting things ready for the interim financing, and then also working on the permanent financing. It's around about 52,000 with all 3 of those phases combined.
Yeah, so my only question, having read through the document, is that, is that a competitive rate? If it's above a certain threshold, are we required to go out and compete this, or is this based off of past performance that we're able to make this commitment without competing?
Yeah, and as far as I know, Jenny, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we've used Ehlers in the past on previous projects.
Yeah, we've always used Ehlers as our bonding attorneys.
Yeah, I guess the question is if it's above a certain dollar amount, are we required to compete it?
To compete their services?
Correct.
No.
Make a motion to proceed with resolution number 95, 2022, engagement letter for Ehlers Cooney.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Shelton, aye.
Terrell, aye.
Reese, aye.
Michelle, I.
Okay, and the third in the series is resolution number 96, 2022, authorizing and providing for the incurrence of indebtedness for the purpose of providing a portion of the cost of acquiring, constructing, enlarging, improving, and/or extending its municipal water facility to serve an area lawfully within its jurisdiction to serve.
This is basically a USDA resolution. And the resolution would be to incur the indebtedness of the $5,364,000 that HMU is currently approved for based on the letter of conditions. And then again, once the project is bid, as we know, with the engineers, difference in the engineer's cost or estimate at this point. Once the project is bid and we've got a firm number from the bidding process, the USDA would propose additional funding package to cover that difference between the bid amount and the approved loan amount.
I move to approve Resolution 96-2022.
Second.
And roll call?
Sheldon, aye.
Terrell, aye.
Reese, aye.
Michelle, I.
Okay, item number 8. Addition to HMU team staff accountant, a fractional team member.
Like we said at first, it was just discussion to and possible action move forward with the hiring of a staff accountant for 20 to 25 hours per week. Might be likely looking at more hours kind of at the beginning there just to get them settled in, but and then I would refer either to Jim or Nella. Kind of, we've had a committee meeting as far as with the finance committee to discuss this option.
Nella, do you want to speak to it first, or would you like me?
Why don't you do it?
Okay.
Yeah.
So what this was a sort of a long-standing matter that was being discussed as to whether or not to how to best provide the utility with financial information from which to do forecasting and assessments. The team sat down last week, looked at what the current expenditures are being made for accountant-type services, and determined that not only would it be beneficial for the utility, it would also lead to a cost avoidance based off of what is currently being paid for outside accounting services. The team also decided that we would obviously put this to develop a position description, and then to Michelle's comments earlier during an email, this is not a preconceived selection. This would be competed just like any other position within the utility. The reason for us.
Okay. I have a question, Jim.
Go ahead.
Is this going to include benefits and everything for this person?
It would be anything that's available for a part-time employee.
So does the
So it depends on
cost
the-
of an outside person get benefits as a part-time employee?
No.
So did we weigh those options?
Yes.
So it's still cost effective to hire somebody than it is to have an outside employee when the cost of benefits are kind of high anyway.
Correct.
Well, yes, because first of all, there's minimal benefits that come with a fractional employee.
And this application would go out in the newspaper everywhere, right?
It would follow the same hiring process that we do for all other team members.
Okay, so we're not, what's the word? We're gonna be transparent with this.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody that sees the ad wants to apply, they will have the opportunity to apply for it, if that's what you're asking.
Yes,
As
because that's
long
we
as-
want to be as transparent.
As long as they read our Facebook page, as long as they look at our website, as long as they read the newspaper, or as long as they listen to KNOD, they will have the opportunity.
Okay.
Yeah, and Michelle, there was also union notification was taken into consideration as well, so we are definitely not pre-selecting. We're going to follow the procedures.
Okay.
Were there any other questions regarding this? Do you need a resolution from us to approve this hire, or?
Yeah, for creating the position.
Okay.
And then just allowing the committee to go through the process.
Would you like to make that?
Yeah, I move to approve the addition of a staff accountant to the HMU team.
Second.
Roll call?
Sheldon, aye.
Terrell, aye?
Reese, aye.
Michelle, aye.
Okay. Item number 9 would be the proposal for extension of audit services from Gronwald Bell Kine and Company for fiscal years 23 and 24.
Yes, we wanted to just extend our current audit services for 2 years while we get the fractional staff accountant kind of in place. And then we would return back to probably a multi-year, 3-year, whatever contract after that, after these next 2 years are up with the current audit company.
Yeah, is there a cost avoidance for doing it for 2 years, vice just 1?
Yeah, I think, what they'd sent, and correct me if I'm wrong, Jenny, I mean, they, they're used to, I guess, doing the audits for us. I think there is a savings, or there is a, I guess, perceived savings that, they're familiar with the books, in other words.
They just quoted it with the cost of inflation on the sheet that was sent out, the 1 year and the 2 year.
Yeah, and I think the percentage on the inflation they added to, Jim, was probably, on the low side as far as what they increased.
Yeah, they said it was lower than what it was the inflation was projected.
Projection.
Yeah, the only comment is that we just had a position approved that's linked to a cost avoidance, that now we're coming back in and adding a 2-year contract, which is part of what was debated and discussed relative to a salary offset, or even though it's a fractional salary. So, my preference is we just do for 1 year. If there's no cost avoidance associated with a 2-year contract, and we just.
And just so you know, when we did bid this before, when we bid it out, we've only had 2 people respond, and these guys were the lowest bidders each time. So if that helps with your decision.
Yeah, I'm not looking to hamstring us in any way, shape, or form, especially since we have a large bond coming our way. So it was just discussion. It's not a either or.
I just need a proposal, or
A motion.
A motion
Do we
to,
have a motion to approve the 1 or 2 year extension?
Well, is this something that can be tabled till next month or whatever, till we figure out what this fractional person is?
So
Or is
you-
this something that needs to be done now?
So what's the reason for tabling it?
Well,
Because then you want to send out for bids instead of doing the extension, or?
not necessarily, but I mean,
I guess, one question I have, the person we're hiring, isn't going to eliminate the need for this audit.
No, we
No.
still need to have an outside
Yeah.
auditor.
Right, so no matter what, we're doing this. We've never had anyone bid it below this group that we're currently
Right,
with.
the last
Normally, we
time-
sign a 3-year deal with this group.
Right, and then
we've
we-
actually shortened it to 2 years in
Yeah, we
this.
did a 3-year with them, and then we did a 2-year extension, I think, and then now we're just doing another 2-year extension. And typically, if you go out for bids, and if you get a new company, your first year is going to be higher anyway, because they're not familiar with.
Right. personally, I can see no reason not to move forward
Yeah,
with
so I
this.
mean, what was the cost avoidance that you mentioned then, Jim? I mean, hiring this person, if there is no cost avoidance, you're gonna we still have to do this audit.
Yes.
True.
As long as we have bonding, we have to do an annual audit,
Yeah.
without
Okay.
doubt.
Then I make a motion that we go ahead and do the 2-year extension with the auditors of Grunwald Bellman.
I'll second that motion.
Roll call?
Shelton, aye.
Carol, aye.
Reese, aye.
Michelle, aye.
Okay. Item number 10, franchise fees paid to the city of Harlan. This is a discussion-only item.
Yeah, this was just something we wanted to put on the agenda, obviously for discussion, was talking about discontinuing the franchise fees to the telecom customers. Previous city attorney had verified that a city-owned utility is not required to charge franchise fees. I did talk to Gene here, I don't know, it's probably been, time gets away, maybe 3 weeks to a month ago. We had kind of discussed it. And I had mentioned, you know, that there had been discussions in the past as far as trying to go ahead and discontinue that franchise fee, you know, if it was not necessary. And I see Gene's on. I don't know if he wants to weigh in. He did mention that he was going to talk to either committees or the council a little bit on it after our meeting there too at some point.
Gene, did you have anything you wanted to add on that?
Apologize for that. Nothing to add at this point. Joe, if we could circle back, was waiting for a little more information since we spoke. And I've not had any further interpretation and not something we've looked at least since I've been on the roll. So I'm not familiar with any past discussions on the topic. It is a pass through, so there is an additional cost. It's not like, just to be clear, it's a pass through to utilize public right of way for any user or provider. But if we could circle back, that's all I know.
Are they charges to like other telecommunication providers or?
You would have to.
Yeah, Gene, a question's come up. I think I know what the question would be. Are other telecom providers charged this franchise fee?
Yes.
Okay. So Joe, and maybe, this is kind of a new kind of topic, and that's why we're talking about this. Is this something that we just include as part of the overall expenses, or is this a separate line item on the bill?
That would have to be a question, I guess, for Jim.
It's a separate line item on the bill.
The franchise fee only applies to cable TV services, and it amounts to 5%. All providers in Harlan that provide cable TV services are required to pay that. Other than us as a municipal utility, already with the state of Iowa, we're not required to collect that 5% franchise fee for use of the city right-of-ways.
But we currently do.
But we currently do.
Okay.
We don't have any current agreement with the city of Harlan for franchise fees as required by IUB. I'm not sure if Mediacom or Farmers Mutual or any of the other providers currently have a current franchise fee agreement with the city of Harlan or not.
Okay. Sounds like an interesting topic of conversation for, certainly like to hear what Gene has to say possibly at our next meeting. Is this something that will stay on the agenda then, or?
That's up to you guys. I believe they probably need to know for budgeting purposes too.
Yeah, and on that note too, David, I can circle, like I said, Gene and I can circle back around. And we can get him additional any information he needs as far as what he's looking for on their site before we discuss any further.
Okay, sounds like we might have the horse just slightly ahead of the cart, or behind the cart, but we'll see what you guys come back with. Is there any further discussion on that item? Okay, moving on to item number 11 is resolution number 1215, honoring the service of Randall Reese to the Harlan Municipal Utilities. So, Randy, you're leaving us just as you were about to take my job.
Right, so.
So, the official resolution reads, the Harlan Municipal Utilities operates under the direction of a 5-member board of trustees selected by the City of Harlan Mayor and affirmed by the City Council. Harlan Municipal Utilities provides electric, gas, water, cable television, internet, and telephone services to the City of Harlan. Whereas the 5-member board of trustees provides the vision and guidance to maintain the utility functions for all citizens of Harlan. Whereas Randall Reese, one of the 5-member board of trustees for the past 4.5 years, will end his term effective January 13th, 2023. Now be it resolved that the Harlan Municipal Utilities and its customers appreciate the dedication, hard work, and time Randall Reese contributed to serving as a trustee for the past 4.5 years. Be it further resolved that Randall Reese and guests will be permanently invited to the Employee Annual Recognition Banquet in appreciation of his services and dedication to the Harlan Municipal Utilities, employees, and customers.
I move to approve that resolution.
And do we have a second? Randy probably
I'll
won't vote.
second.
Roll
I'll
call.
second.
Shelton, aye.
Terrell, aye.
I'll abstain.
Michelle, aye.
Tiger aye.
Thank you, Randy.
Thank you.
Thank you, Randy.
And
Miss you, Randy.
Thanks, guys.
item 13, committee assignments for the Board of Trustees, the election of officers is item number 12. Since Randy was to be the chairperson, they have asked me to stay on as such in election of Michelle Erickson as the vice chairperson.
I move to have David Terrell remain as the chairperson and Michelle Erickson appointed as the vice chairman or chairperson.
Second.
Roll call.
Shelton, aye.
Terrell, aye.
Reese, aye.
Michelle, aye.
Tiger aye.
Okay. And finally, the number 13, committee assignments for the Board of Trustees, effective January 1st. No change has been proposed.
Everybody said that they were happy with the committees that they were on and didn't want to change to a different one.
Okay. Need a motion to approve.
Just one quick question. So are we, will there be a appointment in time to service Randy's departure?
The city has, I've been told they're expecting anyone interested in the position needs to let the city know by January 6th. The assumption would be that we would have this person in place by our January in-person meeting.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, move to approve the committee assignments.
I'll
Second.
second.
roll call.
Shelton, aye.
Terrell, aye.
Reese, aye.
Michelle, aye.
Tiger aye.
Okay, Joe, you're up.
All right, got a few items like usual. We're hopefully on track as far as the water project, hopefully on track for approving plans at the end of January and then possibly having bids back by end of February. Like I said, I need to probably discuss that with the engineers a little bit more too, but haven't heard anything different since last talking to them. Item B, on that same note, working with Orrin Title and Matt Hudson on updating abstracts. And then Matt would complete title opinions of all the HMU property that is occupied properties as required by the USDA for funding of the water project. And that's any of the HMU properties that have any water facilities or structures on them. So that's moving forward. We're hoping to have, well, USDA says we got to have that in place before we can bid. So that all needs to be done by the end of January. So far, Orrin Title has let us know they're working on them, and they said there should be no issue with them getting them done, hopefully by the early part of January. And then
Joe, just to let you know, can you hear me? This is Matt Hudson.
yeah, Matt.
I stopped by their offices today, just to remind them that we want to get those abstracts. As soon as one is updated, get it to me. Don't wait for
the whole pile
to be updated and the 4 we may need to create to be updated and given to me. Just give them to me as they come through. And I just want to let you know and the board know I have received none to date. And their offices are closed today for one time. So hopefully they're accurate. They'll get everything to me, but they have not gotten anything to me yet.
Okay. And that's the thing. That's the thing too, Matt. I guess maybe next week, end of next week, I'll maybe circle back around with them and just get it.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'm sure they're probably closed Monday as well. And she told me the real estate side of it, secretary told me that they'd be closed tomorrow too.
Okay. All right. Okay. Next item, we do have the easement in place with Denny Wooden for the water project. And should have the easement with Schechner Seed Company finalized here hopefully next week. Got that to Schechner Seed's attorney. They reviewed, we made some changes, and then I got it back to them. Actually, Marcus got back to me today and said everything looked good, just wanted to add a couple more things. So we should have that finalized next week, hopefully. That should take care of all the easements we need for the project. Transition with Clayton Energy purchasing our natural gas for HMU is going well, I think. I know they did mention, and I just wanted to mention to the public that, the gas purchase prices are high right now from Northern. So, if all the customers can do what they can to kind of conserve to keep your billing down, that would be great. And then Clayton is also working with HMU to kind of set up our billing process to kind of mirror what they're doing with other municipal utilities that they work with. Next item, Jordan Flannery had started with the gas and meter department on Monday. That department now is fully staffed, and I think he's coming along fairly well as far as talking to Colburn. Next item, the old equipment, trailers, and etc. that we had kind of gathered from our cleanup down at the old facility. They have all been sold, and everything's been picked up and moved out of there. The customer celebration held last Tuesday on the 13th. Turnout wasn't great, but I think the Santa and the Christmas theme was something well received, and something maybe we can consider in the future. But I think we had great teamwork by all the employees, holding that event. Union negotiations will be held in January towards the end of the month. Our office PCs installs are scheduled for January 10th and 11th. And correct me if I'm wrong, Jim, I think we're looking at, was it 8 or 9 that we're replacing?
Jim, can you hear him? He said 8 or 9 PCs that are being replaced. Is that correct?
9 PCs.
9 PCs, Joe.
Okay, 9. That's what I thought. Okay. And then also, the electric SCADA system that was approved, that update, I think we're getting close to completion on that, just trying to, and I don't know how far out we are yet. Have you heard, Jim or Colburn?
I can't hear.
Did you guys hear?
The
He's wondering
SCADA
how
system?
far out you are on the SCADA system, the electrical SCADA system, either one of you.
The electric SCADA system is nearly complete. They're transferring data from the old SCADA server to the new server. And then Schneider Electric, who administers and supports the software, is setting up a call with Don at Utilitycode to get a download of the software for their warranty purposes and support purposes. So we sent Don an email a couple days ago. We haven't heard anything back. The holidays, it could be between Christmas and New Year's, or might get pushed till after New Year's. Not quite sure. We're near completion.
A couple more items, December anniversaries. We've got 5 of them. Donald, 16 years. Troy Doonan, 14. Kevin Musage, 12. Patty Burrows, 9. And then Matt Burney, 1 year. And then my last item is just kudos out to all all of our utility crews. Just kind of working to get a lot of the stuff done this fall, into the cold weather, as far as any new services that they were trying to get complete. And I know like the water departments had several leaks that they had to go fix out in cold weather. And then also today, there was a power outage for about 18 customers. Turned out it was a transformer. They got, and correct me if I'm wrong, Colburn, got 14 of them back on within an hour. And I think they had the other 4 on probably within 3 hours of getting the call. So
That is correct.
And that is all I have. I guess if there's any questions for me.
Anything for Joe? All right, we'll move on to item 15, which is a possible closed session to discuss strategy with counsel in matters that are presently in litigation or where litigation is imminent, where its disclosure would be likely to prejudice or disadvantage the position of the government body in that litigation.
We're about to go into closed session. I'm not hearing speakerphone. Yeah.
It'll be a little bit, but you guys got to vote first of
Yeah.
all.
We need to vote to go into closed session, so
I move to go into closed session.
Second.
roll call.
Sheldon, aye.
Terrell, aye.
Reese, aye.
We're going to get too much feedback on here.
They're voting on going into closed session right now.
Okay, so thank you everyone for joining us.
We are back in open session. The item number 16 is water plant litigation settlement. First motion.
Do we have a motion to approve the settlement agreement with B&K?
I'll move. Seconded. Roll call. Sheldon, aye. Terrell, aye. Reese, aye.
Michelle, I.
Aye.
And the second motion.
And for the second motion, is the board agreeable to the settlement with WEMU for the mediator's proposal with favorable terms agreed upon by Matt Hudson and Whitfield Eddy law firms, including but not limited to HMU not waiving any latent claims?
So moved. Seconded. Roll call. Sheldon, aye. Terrell, aye. Reese, aye.
Michelle, I.
Bye, good night.
Okay, meeting adjourned.
Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.